India, the second largest nation by population and seventh largest by area, known for its cities, the Himalayas, the lions of Gujarat, where the last lions of Asia live, and the famous religious festivals. The whole country is governed by the ancient city of New Delhi from 1911, but I thought it was an older city. And if there is a New Delhi, is there also an Old Delhi? Well, yes. But to answer this question, let's go see into the history of the city. The area surrounding Delhi must have been inhabited by the people during the Rigvedic time period, as the Rig Veda detailed the region of North India between the Sindhu or Indus River and the Ganges or the Ganga River, thereby including Delhi within these parameters. The area now known as Delhi was arguably built by the legendary Pandava family, as they were told to leave the Kaurava capital of Hastinapur in a power struggle that began with the fathers of each. The capital they built was erected on the banks of the Yamuna River and given the name Indraprastha, the name coming from the king of gods and the father of Pandava. To summarize a 2 lakh-verse long power struggle between cousins in under a minute, the son of a king is born blind, the brother becomes king instead, the king has children, the king dies, his brother becomes king, the current king has 100 children, the two cousins start disliking each other, they decide to split the kingdom, the dead king's son burns a forest for their new capital, which is said to be the current area of Delhi, which is also where the name Indraprastha originates. Thanks to the king of gods letting them build the city, their cousin becomes jealous, rig a dice game to win everything the cousins have, eventually are exiled, but then come back. The king's son refuses to give them any land back. A war begins, a war ends, the blind king gives up the throne to his nephew. He rules a family across the nation, killed themselves. The family decided it's time to finally leave the earth and give the kingdom to the remaining members of said family that nearly killed themselves. Moving away from legend, archaeological studies have shown Delhi to be a continuously inhabited area since as early as the 6th century BCE, with a major settlement residing there until the 4th century CE. But an even older Iron Age civilization could have resided there thanks to the discovery of pottery shards found in the area. Although there were ancient structures from both the Mauryan and the Gupta empires of what could be considered Delhi today, the city itself did not seem that important to the kings who preferred administrative control of the eastern parts of the Gangetic Plain in cities like Pataliputra, modern-day Patna in Bihar. This is until 736 CE when King Anand Pal constructed Lal Kot, which the Rajput king Prithviraj supposedly conquered in the late 12th century. Prithviraj, however, later fell to Muhammad Ghori of Afghanistan, whose generals would later form the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate would construct various monuments and expand the city and empire. Famously, one important leader of the Delhi Sultanate was Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who, trying to conquer the Deccan in Middle India, moved the capital away from Delhi to Dolatabad, Maharashtra, but lost all his strength in the north, but he eventually had to move away from the south, going back to the north and reinstituting it as the capital. The Delhi Sultanate would continue to decline, but hit an even more massive blow with the invasion of Timur the Lame in the 1300s. The Delhi Sultanate would then move the capital from Delhi to Agra. Afterwards, the Delhi Sultanate would eventually meet its end when a descendant of Timur named Babur invaded India, wiping out the Delhi Sultanate in the First Battle of Panipat. This began the Mughal Empire, and after successfully defeating a Rajput rebellion, he cemented his power in northern India. The Mughal Empire was named after the Persian word for Mongol because not only was Babur a descendant of Timur from his father's side, he was a descendant of Genghis Khan from his mother's side. After Babur's death, his son Humayun faced power struggles in the region by Sher Shah Suri, who eventually forced Humayun out of India and into the nearby Persia. Persia at this time was controlled by the Safavid dynasty, who eventually did help out Humayun if he converted to Shia Islam. Humayun also built the Purana Qila, which was finished by Sher Shah Suri, which is said to be the region of where Indraprastha once was. But then his son Akbar would then take control of Delhi back from him after the Second Battle of Panipat. Akbar would then greatly expand the empire. Akbar's grandson Shah Jahan of Taj Mahal fame is one of the most important people in the history of Delhi, as he moved the capital from Agra back to Delhi. He constructed the city Shah Jahanabad, which today is home to the Red Fort, the seat of Mughal power, and the Jama Masjid, one of the largest mosques in India. This area is the city Shah Jahanabad is what became to be known as Old Delhi today. Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb would then seize power of the throne by imprisoning his father in the Agra fort and would greatly expand the empire. But the empire quickly dwindled after his death in 1707, and facing opposition from the Marathas in the south and an invasion from Nadir Shah in the north, the Mughal Empire would quickly dwindle. Nadir Shah ransacked the city and the Red Fort, stealing iconic jewelry from the Mughal kings such as the Peacock Throne and the Kohinoor Diamond. The Mughals would then nearly lose all of their power to the Marathas, who only let the Mughals control the Red Fort and the surrounding area. There's a better video on this that I will link in the description. Eventually, the Marathas would lose the city to the Durrani Empire in the Third Battle of Panipat, which checked Maratha expansion in the north, but the Marathas eventually reclaimed the city from the Durranis. The 1700s were a rough time for Delhi, as the city faced shifting control between the Marathas, Sikhs, Mughals, and Afghans. After the Battle of Plassey of 1757, the British annexed large areas of India and would eventually take Delhi from the Marathas in 1803 and annex the empire completely by 1818. The Mughal control of Delhi would finally end with the British annexation of Delhi after the 1857 Sepoy Rebellion. The rebellion can be summarized in another YouTube video I will link below, but the 1857 revolt transferred power from the company to the British crown that would continue to rule India for 90 years and formally ended the Mughal Empire. Now, after the British won the Battle of Plassey, the areas they controlled were called the Bengal Presidency and placed their capital in Calcutta. But in 1911, the British decided that to better administer the empire, they would move the seat from Calcutta to the north due to violence the decade previous in Bengal and the historicity of Delhi as the capital city of India. They would then construct a new city that would be known as New Delhi. The principal architect was named Edwin Lutyens, and the construction finally ended in 1931. In 1947, India became independent. The country was roughly divided on religious lines into India and Pakistan. The partition brought in a massive migration of Hindus and Sikhs from Pakistan to Delhi. Delhi is also a significant region of where the language Hindustani developed from, which has two modern standard forms of Hindi and Urdu, arguably the most important languages in northern India. So New Delhi is the administrative region of Delhi, where the central government resides, and Old Delhi is the last remnants of Mughal control. But outside New Delhi, a much larger and older city exists. Areas such as the Red Fort continue in importance as the seat of symbolic Indian power, similar to the White House or the Kremlin. The Indian Prime Minister continues a tradition of hoisting the flag on Independence Day, a tradition that started with the first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru. Delhi nowadays has its own legislative government as it is its own state. It is the second largest city in India by population and one of the oldest on the banks of the Yamuna. Delhi is also very important thanks to its proximity to the Doab region of central northern India and the Punjab region, which is split today between India and Pakistan, both very fertile regions. To the south, it also borders the Thar Desert. Today, Delhi suffers from issues such as personal safety and pollution and traffic. So questions are asked if moving the capital should be done to ease traffic and pollution of the city. The NCR, National Capital Region, which are cities surrounding Delhi, are expanding rapidly too, with finance in Gurugram and the largest Samsung factory in Noida. Delhi today is seen as a unique blend of Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim cultures, as all three have significant populations in the city and have all controlled Delhi at one point in history. But as the city continues to grow, let's take time to remember how much history the city went through and how it just started with 5 humble brothers on the Yamuna.